Hello, welcome to the overview of the Child Care Workforce Retention Bonus Program. The goals of this webinar are to describe the Workforce Retention Bonus Program, to introduce the application process, and to inform you of where to look if you need more assistance. The CDD, per Legislative Act 83, is distributing $7 million in workforce retention bonuses to eligible program owners. The program aims to mitigate the significant negative impacts childcare and after-school programs have sustained throughout the COVID-19 public health emergency. There are two phases to this program, and each one has its own application. Phase 1 is a benefit payment to owners of an eligible program who are filling an eligible position in an ongoing basis. Phase 2 is a grant award made to eligible employers who have staff, either full or part-time, in eligible positions. Employers will have the flexibility to determine the frequency they want to use to distribute payments to their staff in the grant program. It is important for you to get familiar with whichever application you're going to submit, including required documents, before you begin. We will be processing applications in the order that they are received, and duplicate applications will delay processing. So application 1 is for program owners who fill eligible positions in an ongoing basis. The applicant will be paid in a one lump sum payment. Application 2 is a grant application for employers in eligible programs. This is a reimbursement payment for bonuses that have already been paid to staff in eligible positions. You can find out more information on the CDD website. If you go to CDD Vermont and select Child Care Providers, then select Funding Opportunities, and then Providers and Programs, and then scroll to Child Care Workforce Retention Bonus Program. To be eligible, a program must have an active license for a registered or licensed family child care home, center-based child care and preschool program, or after-school child care program, and be located in Vermont, and be open and serving Vermont children at the time of application. Again, application 1 is a one-time benefit payment for owners who work in eligible positions. Please be sure to review the FAQs before you begin the application. You should receive a confirmation email from the system. The email is computer generated and is from Jotform. The first applications will be processed on September 30th, 2022, and then on the last Friday of each month for new programs after that. Processing will take several days and payments will be sent as soon as processing is complete. You may only apply once. Eligible positions are full and part-time staff in the following positions: Director, Family Child Care Home Provider, After-School Administrator, After-School Program Staff, Teacher, Teacher Associate, Assistant, Trainee, Aide, and if the owner is on leave but is committed to returning to work in one of the eligible positions, they are also eligible. Full-time is a permanent employee and working 32 hours or more per week. Part-time is a permanent employee and working between 20 and 31 hours per week. Next, we will be looking at the benefit application itself. I will be moving through this portion quickly as this is a pretty straightforward application and has already been posted for a couple of days. The beginning of the application provides a brief description of the program. Then the application moves on to talk about eligibility for the benefit payment. First, it lists the program eligibility, and then the eligible positions are listed again that we showed you previously. Next, the application asks some questions about your program. Please be sure that the program name that you list matches what we have in CDDIS and BFIS. Your license number can be found on your license certificate. We do have a slide in a couple minutes that goes through the steps that you will need to take to find your Vision Supplier ID number if you need help with that. The next section is some personal information that we need to have to complete the payment and get that sent to you. And then the next section asks you to verify if you work in an eligible position full-time or part-time, and if you would like the full bonus payment. On the left side of the slide, it shows you what the application looks like before you begin this section. And then on the right side, it shows you what it'll look like after you start entering responses. Next, there is a little bit of timeline information and some certifications. By signing the application, you are agreeing to all of the certifications. So that's it for the benefit payment application. As I said, we do have a slide in here that tells you how to find your Vision Supplier ID number. If you need help with that, you can review this slide. That information is also available in the FAQs. Now we are going to be moving on to the grant application. Application number 2, the grant application, is for employers to complete to receive a reimbursement for bonus payments that they make to their employees. Please review the FAQs before proceeding. You will need a signed certificate of suspension and debarment if there is not an active SAMS registration, a certificate of insurance, a current W-9, and an Excel list of eligible employees. We have created a template for the Excel list, and that will be available on the bid site. You can find more information on the Vermont Business Registry and bid system, and you can also find a link on the CDD funding opportunities page. This slide shows the eligible positions for the grant application. Those positions are the Director, Family Child Care Home Assistant, After School Administrator, After School Program Staff, Teacher, Teacher Associate, Assistant, Trainee, Aide, and a long-term substitute who is covering a staff member who is on leave in one of the above eligible positions. If the staff member on leave is committed to returning to work in one of the eligible positions above, they are also eligible. Full-time employees are permanent employees and are working 32 hours or more per week. Part-time employees are permanent employees who are working between 20 and 31 hours per week. Next, we are going to review the application and information that you will need to collect and complete it. When you first open the application, you will be asked if you have reviewed the request for grant application. It is important that you do this and understand it before proceeding. Once you have done this, you can select yes, and you will see the sections of the application that you will need to complete. For program information, please be sure that your program name matches what we have in CDDIS and BFIS. We do have a slide that explains how to find your Vision Supplier ID, and this can also be located in the FAQs. Your Vermont Business ID number can be found at the Secretary of State website. And then the next section is about your SAMS registration and your UEI number. Please note that your UEI, if you do not have a SAMS registration or are waiting for it, you may complete and submit a signed certification of suspension and disbarment. This is what that looks like. It is available with the rest of the grant documents on the bid site. Next, the application asks for contact information of the person who will sign the grant agreement. And then there are some business and accounting questions that we will need to have answered. What type of accounting system do you use? Does your business or organization have a system that allows you to track the receipt and disbursement of funds? Does your business have policies and procedures to assure compliance with the terms of the grant? Does your business have a system in place that will account for the employee's time? If you have not spent over $750,000 in any of the past 3 years in federal money, you should check not applicable for the last one on here. If you marked not applicable for the question before this one, you should mark not applicable on this one as well. The next section asks if you are asking for any exceptions to any of the standard state of Vermont grant language. Please review the request for grant application if you need to do that. The next section looks at employee information. We will need to know how many employees you are applying for. You will need to complete and upload the Excel template that can be found at the bid site. This is a screenshot of a portion of that template. Please note, we will need to know if an employee is part-time or full-time, and how much of a bonus you are requesting for each employee. So up to $500 for a part-time employee, up to $1,000 for a full-time employee. Along the bottom of the spreadsheet, you will see that there are separate tabs for each license. Employees can only receive one bonus payment. The next section is about retention funding and distribution. This section asks how you would like to divide up the payments that you are requesting. On the left, you'll see what this section looks like before you make a selection. And then on the right, you will see how it is after you make a selection, and that there may be follow-up questions once you make your selection. Not all of the selections have follow-up questions. We will need a current certificate of insurance, and we will need a current W-9. You will not be able to proceed without uploading items in these sections. By signing the document, you are agreeing to the certifications. This slide contains several links that you may find helpful to collect the information that you need to complete this application. A few things to keep in mind. You are responsible for making sure your application is complete, accurate, and received on time. Submitting early will not affect the outcome. Gather your documents and use the FAQs to make sure that you have all materials together before you apply. However, applications can be saved and returned to as you go. Grant awards arising from this request for grant application will be issued on a rolling basis. Payment terms are net 30 days from the date the state receives an error-free financial and program report. If you have more questions, here are a few places that you may be able to find answers. We thank you for taking the time to listen to this webinar. A PDF version of the slides will also be available if you would like to review them. Have a great day.